And good morning. Yeah, I'm so busy here at the computer after I typed my blurb doing birthdays and thank yous for all of the new subscribers and new friends on Facebook, and of course the people that have birthdays today on Facebook. The time almost got away from me. I looked at the clock and my goodness, it was 1 minute to go to starting, and here I was still working away at the computer. I hadn't lit the candles yet, but they're lit now. Anyway. The title today is Passionate Self-Righteousness and Truth. There have been many times, including on my videos, that I expressed my viewpoints passionately. Almost always people think I'm angry when I do this. I often did not feel angry, yet that is how it was perceived. I have also observed this in others, and those that see a different viewpoint being expressed with passion often react with a defensive posture, no less passionate, yet expressed with less volume. We all, in our ego-centric manner, like to believe that our perspective is the only one that is right. This is self-righteousness. And the one thing I have noticed about this is that when I come from that place, others do not feel love, and a barrier goes up. The truth is, as physical beings in time and space, it is normal to see from one perspective at a time, which always appears right to us. Love allows other perspectives to be right as well. Oh, it happened in the meeting last night when one of the people that was listening to the lecture disagreed with what the lecturer was saying and expressed it passionately. And the speaker took it as anger. I didn't see it as anger because I express things passionately too, and I don't feel angry. I feel right, but I don't feel angry. I just feel like the way that I see it is the right way, and I'm expressing that passionately. And I watched as the speaker went on the defensive with a whole lot less volume, but definitely it was passionate, just passionately expressed in a different way, a lower key, if you will. And it was really nice to be able to observe that interaction as an observer or a bystander, not actually involved. Because when I'm actually involved, I don't always see it clearly. But when I watched it in two other people playing out that dynamic of strong, passionate expression with defensive, with an equally passionate but yet defensive position, and hurt feelings. You know, how dare you not agree with me? And the speaker did a very good job of indicating that, look, from where I'm standing, this is how it appears to me, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm just stating this is what it looks like to me. And she was correct. It was what it looked like to her. And he was right. That's what it looked like to him. And to me, it was just, much of it was just terminology, which he didn't like, saying, well, it's just terminology, when I brought that up. But lots of our differences are explaining or saying the same thing, just using different words. It often is terminology. We mean the same, but we're saying it in a different, using a different set of words to explain what we're seeing. But I want each of you, if you will, to try to get beyond the boundaries of your viewpoint. Because in doing that, you will move into a realm of greater ability to love, which is really, folks, what we're here for Forget all the other BS. We're not here to determine whether conservative or liberal is correct, or whether fundamentalism or liberal religion is correct. The truth of the matter is none of them are correct. They're only viewpoints. It's not even in the realm of right and wrong. And the whole realm of right and wrong is where we get into trouble. But I understand where people come from, because I notice that when I feel the need to be most passionate, it's also when I'm feeling the most fear. I may not feel it as anger as other people take it, but I am recognizing that those are times when I'm feeling alone and fearful and abandoned and alienated. And these are the feelings that are coming up for me. And because I am in that fearful place, I want to gain allies. So I passionately express my viewpoint, trying to get people to come to my defense. And I'm expressing it passionately. You know, why can't you see it? This is the way it is. Can't you see that if we don't all get together on this thing, nothing's going to get accomplished, and I'm going to get hurt? That's the real message. That's the real message that I see in me. I'm going to get hurt, and I don't want to be hurt anymore. I've been hurt enough. And then the person on the other side takes the defensive posture and tries to shut down. The speaker actually almost shut down last night. She didn't. She regrouped and came back, but it almost shut her down. She needed to take a short break from the lecture in order to gather herself together, because she was in the defensive mode. And I think I hurt her worse by pointing out that she was being, as he was being passionate, she was being defensive. And this happened to me the other day, and I did share that last night in the group as well. Over the past week, I had more than one individual, but especially one individual who was trying really hard to convince me that being a vegan was the only spiritual and correct way to handle eating in this dimension, pointing out all of the things that I already knew about how badly the animals are treated in food farms, and how much anger. And I mean, I know all of that, folks. I know all of that. And I also know what happened, what my experience was when I attempted to be a vegetarian. Not a vegan, but a vegetarian. And I didn't enjoy my food. I enjoy a cheeseburger every once in a while. I don't have one every day. I might even go a week or more without having one. I don't know. I don't measure the time, but I enjoy that once in a while. I don't do everything that I do. I try to do in moderation. I enjoy a screwdriver every now and again. I had a screwdriver before the meeting last night. One screwdriver. Occasionally, I'll have 3. Often I will have 2. And that's usually my limit. But every once in a while, I'll go that extra one, that third one. But it's moderate. I mean, I'll go sometimes a week or 2 without having a drink at all. Everything in moderation. That's me. That way I don't become addicted to a substance, even if the substance is a particular kind of food. Well, if I'm addicted to any food, it's cheese. Because I love cheese on practically everything. Not fruit, but crackers and bread and vegetables and meats and eggs. I like cheese with a lot of my food. So that's probably something that I have pretty much every single day. I have cheese in my diet. And I love cheese, provided it's not curdled, provided it doesn't have mold in it, provided it doesn't stink, provided it's in a block, something that can be sliced. If it can't be sliced, I tend not to like that kind of cheese, like ricotta or cottage cheese. I don't like them. I don't like cream cheese even. I mean, I'll eat some of these things, but it's not my preference. My preference is like a good sharp cheddar or a Monterey Jack or a pepper jack, uh, or Colby or American cheese. Uh, these are the things that I like. But I'm not going to try to push my diet on anybody else. I understand where vegans and raw foodists come from. I'm not disagreeing with them. What I disagree with them is when they try to passionately force everybody else to be what they are. And that's only fear. That's fear talking. I know that from my own experience. When I am passionately trying to get other people to see it my way, it's fear talking. It's my ego talking that doesn't see the bigger picture, that isn't allowing, that isn't loving. These are things that I learn, and sometimes the hard way, through actual experience. And I'm sharing it with you so that you can push your boundaries out a little bit more and be able to widen your circle where you're able to love people that have a different viewpoint, a different perspective. Because you begin to understand, like the 5 blind men or the 4 blind men or whatever that touched the elephant, and each were describing the elephant in a different way. A rope, a hose, a tree, a wall. I don't remember all of the things, but depending on where they were standing and what they were feeling, what they were perceiving with their senses, it looked like this or that, and they were all right. Now, is everybody right? That's a really hard question, because I don't believe everybody is. I believe there are some things that are actually wrong. I believe separation, the concept of separation, is actually wrong. It's not a proper concept. Yet I understand that in physical bodies it appears real. It appears that I'm me and you're you, and he's her, he's him, and she's her, and we are all different individuals. That's what it appears. But from a spiritual perspective, it's all interconnected. There's a web that connects me with you and all of us with each other. And we are all one. That's a higher perspective. And that's the perspective that we're moving to as our consciousness expands, as our hearts and minds open up, and we allow the reality that everything in a physical dimension is merely a perspective, a viewpoint, if you will. It's merely the way it looks from here now. When I get there and look back at here, it will not look the same as it does from where I am right now. And when you understand that principle, you automatically are going to become a more loving person. You're not going to be as rigid in trying to get people to see it your way. Well, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. That's a fundamentalist attitude. That's a narrow viewpoint, and it's still based on fear. It's not based on love, folks. Fundamentalism is fear in operation. Always. I'm right, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. That's fear talking. That's the lower ego, not the higher self. The higher self always lifts us up into a place where we can see the other person with compassion. Not passionately right, but compassionately loving. It's still with passion, but it's loving, because we're allowing the other person to be in the viewpoint that they have, and we're recognizing, whether they recognize it or not, we're recognizing that what they're expressing is their viewpoint. Just like the lady who was trying to convince me to be a vegan. She was expressing her viewpoint passionately, and she ended up telling me, well, I'm not going to listen to your videos anymore. I've really been inspired by your videos, but I just cannot support you anymore if you're eating meat. I just can't do that. You see, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about fundamentalism. I can't accept you as you are if you're not as I am. I can only accept people that are in my group. They're the ones that I'm going to align with. And this is how the world has divided us. This is how the world has made us play off against each other. Instead of coming together into a cooperative thing, it becomes competition. Everything is a competing viewpoint to try to win mastery. And that's the way the world has been created, by that competition. That's why we live in a world that we've been living in. If we're going to change it, we have to expand our perspective. We have to recognize self-righteousness for what it is. Self-righteousness, a self-righteous person, that's the greatest sin of all, Jesus said. Okay? That's Christianity. Self-righteousness is the worst sin. Not adultery, not even murder, but self-righteousness. Being right in your own eyes. That's ego-centrism. It's an absolute damaging place to be. And until we can rise in our consciousness and get above that, we're going to continue to create the world that we've been living in, because that's how it's been created. I share these thoughts with you, and I thank you once again for listening. I trust you'll have a beautiful day, and namaste. Thank you.